When you talk to your cat, this is what they're really thinking. Imagine this scenario. You are lounging comfortably on your sofa, perhaps doom scrolling on your smartphone, when suddenly, a distinct chirp cuts through the silence from the other side of the room. Instinctively, without even lifting your head fully, you ask, "What's the matter, buddy?" And almost immediately, your cat meows back. You reply again. They chirp in return. You chuckle and continue the interaction. It genuinely feels like a conversation, doesn't it? That rhythmic back and forth, the specific little noises, the way they cock their head to the side when you address them. It feels authentic. But what if I told you that it actually is authentic? What if, during every single instance you speak to your cat, they aren't just hearing random acoustic noise, but are actually comprehending, processing, and replying in ways that modern science is only just starting to decipher? Welcome to Meowrange, our cozy, podcast-style corner of the internet where we uncover fascinating facts, share touching stories, and reveal surprising insights about our feline companions. Consider this your moment to relax with a warm cup of tea as we plunge into the incredible depths of feline behavior together. Whether you have been a cat parent for decades or have just recently fallen under the spell of these enigmatic animals, you have found your tribe. Now, prepare yourself for something that might just blow your mind. By the time this video concludes, you will learn that your cat has effectively constructed a completely unique dialect reserved solely for you, a language they do not utilize with other cats or even other humans. We are discussing a personalized form of communication that has been years in the making. Furthermore, there is a specific pattern of sound that unveils whether your cat views you as an equal peer or as their parent. Scientists have documented this phenomenon, analyzed it, and the findings are set to transform how you view every single chat you've ever had with your furry friend. But before we jump into the deep end, please do me a quick favor. And I'm not asking for the sake of the algorithm, I'm asking for you. Click that subscribe button and leave a like on this video, because once you absorb what I am about to reveal, you're going to want to return and reference this data time and time again. This isn't merely interesting trivia. This is knowledge that changes relationships. Believe me, your future self will thank you. Let's set the scene. It is the crack of dawn. You shuffle your way into the kitchen, eyes half closed, and there sits your cat, stationed expectantly by their empty food dish. They gaze up at you and release that recognizable meow. "Good morning, sweetie," you mumble through the grogginess. They meow again, this time injecting a bit more urgency into the sound. I know, you're absolutely famished," you say with a tired grin. They weave through your legs and meow once more, but softer now, almost like they are making conversation. And you reply, yes, you are such a good kitty." We all engage in this. We speak to our cats as if they are our closest confidants, our therapists, or our eccentric roommates who occasionally knock glasses off tables just to see gravity work. We narrate the events of our day to them, confess our deepest anxieties, and share our triumphs. And our cats? Well, they sit there, perhaps purring, perhaps staring with those mysterious, deep eyes, occasionally offering a meow or a slow blink as a retort. However, there is always that small, nagging voice in the back of our heads asking, are they truly listening? Do they understand any of this? Or are we simply talking to the air? It is a question that can make these beautiful interactions feel slightly solitary, perhaps a bit one-sided. Well, I have incredible news for you. And this is where the science becomes truly beautiful. In 2019, a research team at the University of Tokyo, spearheaded by Dr. Atsuko Saito, executed a groundbreaking study that fundamentally shifted everything we believed regarding cats and human speech. They aimed to answer one straightforward inquiry. Do cats actually recognize their own names? The study incorporated 78 cats, and the methodology was ingenious. The researchers played audio recordings of strangers speaking 4 different words that phonetically sounded similar to the cat's name, followed by the cat's actual name spoken by either their owner or a stranger. The findings? Absolutely stunning. The cats demonstrated clear habituation to the first 4 words, meaning they eventually got bored and ceased responding. However, when their actual name was uttered, particularly by their owner, their ears swiveled, their heads jerked up, and they displayed unmistakable signs of recognition. They weren't just hearing sound. They identified their name as a distinct and meaningful label. but it goes much deeper than simple name recognition. Dr. Sato's research unveiled that cats process human voices in a radically different manner than they process the vocalizations of other cats. When you start speaking, your cat's brain is actively working to identify not just that a noise is occurring, but that you specifically are the one speaking. Neuroimaging studies have highlighted that specific regions of a cat's brain activate in response to their owner's voice, regions linked to memory, emotional processing, and social bonding. Your cat's brain possesses a specific neural response pattern reserved solely for your voice. And here is where it gets even more astounding. Research indicates that cats can recognize roughly 25 to 35 different words. We aren't just talking about their names, but actual vocabulary. Words like dinner, treats, no, come here, yes, and even vet. They have acquired this vocabulary through repeated association with real-world experiences. Your cat understands what hungry means because you have uttered it hundreds of times immediately before filling their bowl. Therefore, when your cat's ears perk up at the sound of your voice, even if you are in a different room, it is not a coincidence. Their brain is literally lighting up with recognition, in the exact same way your brain responds when you hear the voice of a loved one in a busy crowd. Your cat undergoes the exact same neurological reaction when they hear you. This implies something profound. Your conversations are not monologues. Your cat is actively electing to engage with you. Every time they rotate their head when you speak, every time they meow back, every time they come trotting when you call, that is a conscious decision rooted in recognition, memory, and an established relationship. But here is where the story gets even more fascinating, and this fact will completely alter how you interpret your cat's vocalizations. Scientists have discovered that adult cats almost never meow at one another in the wild. Kittens will meow to their mothers, certainly, but once they hit adulthood, cats primarily communicate with one another through body language, scent marking, and other noises like hissing or growling. The meow, that sound we most closely associate with felines, is not a component of their natural cat-to-cat communication. They created it exclusively for us. But why? What are they really trying to say? The meow that was made just for you. Reflect on that for a second. The meow, the sound that is likely echoing in your mind right now when you visualize your own cat, is not part of their internal species language. It is a linguistic bridge they engineered specifically to converse with human beings. When two cats encounter each other in an alleyway, they do not meow at one another. They might hiss, growl, or yowl, but casual meowing? That is reserved strictly for us. This discovery alone should make you feel incredibly unique. But the reality is even more mind-bending. Dr. Nicholas Nicastro, a researcher at Cornell University, dedicated years of his life to studying the acoustic properties of feline vocalizations. He recorded and analyzed over 100 distinct meows from various cats across different contexts: hunger, play, attention-seeking, contentment, and distress. What he unearthed was captivating. Cats have evolved their meows to fall within a very specific frequency range, approximately 220 to 520 Hz. Here is the significance of that data. That specific frequency range happens to align closely with the frequency of human infant cries. Yes, you read that correctly. Your cat's meow has evolved to tap into the exact same neurological trigger in your brain that a baby's cry activates. We are biologically hardwired to respond to sounds within that frequency spectrum because, from an evolutionary perspective, responding to a crying infant meant the survival of our species. Cats figured this out, or perhaps more accurately, the cats whose meows naturally fell into this range received more attention, more food, and better care. Consequently, those traits were reinforced over thousands of years of cohabitation with humans. Your cat is literally utilizing a baby voice to communicate with you, and it is working perfectly. However, here is where the story becomes deeply personal. Research from the University of Sussex revealed something extraordinary. Each cat develops a unique dialect with their owner, not a general cat language that works with all humans, but a personalized vocabulary that exists solely between you and your cat. Think about your own cat for a moment. You know their sounds, don't you? You can likely distinguish between their "I am starving" meow and their "pay attention to me right now" meow. You recognize the difference between the demanding yowl they emit when dinner is late and the soft, trilling chirp they offer when you return from work. And here is the beautiful truth. Your cat has been training you. Over months and years of living together, your cat has been conducting small experiments. They attempt a certain meow, and if you respond by offering food, that meow gets filed away in their brain as the food sound. They try a different vocalization, and if you pick them up for a cuddle, that becomes the affection sound. Through thousands of interactions, your cat has constructed a custom dictionary of sounds that function specifically on you. This explains why your cat might possess a completely different vocabulary with different members of your household. The meow they utilize with you might not yield results with your partner, so they have developed a different sound for them. Your cat is essentially bilingual, or even trilingual if you have multiple family members. They code switch, depending on who they are addressing. Let me paint you a picture. Perhaps your cat has a specific meow they only deploy at 3 a.m. when they have decided it is time to play. It is likely higher pitched, more insistent, and perfectly calibrated to penetrate your sleep cycle without being quite loud enough to sound like a medical emergency. They didn't pull that sound out of thin air. They tested various approaches until they found the one that worked, the one that made you stumble out of bed. Or consider the meow they use when you are eating something they desire. It is different from all their other meows, isn't it? Maybe it is more plaintive, more pathetic, with just the right amount of tremor to induce guilt. That is not an accident. That is precision engineering based on extensive research into your specific psychological weaknesses. Now, let's discuss what these different meows actually tend to signify, because while every cat-owner relationship is unique, scientists have identified some general patterns. Short, repeated meows, those quick meow 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 sounds, typically signal a greeting or excitement. Long, drawn-out meows are usually demands or requests. That extended meow is your cat's version of saying, "I require something right now." Medium-toned meows often indicate contentment or casual conversation. Your cat is simply chatting. High-pitched, urgent meows signal discomfort or an immediate need. If your cat's voice suddenly jumps into the upper register, something is wrong. They might be in pain, frightened, or in genuine distress. Understanding these patterns can literally assist you in taking better care of your cat. But remember, these are just general guidelines. The real magic occurs when you combine these vocal cues with visual context. Your cat isn't just using their voice. They are utilizing their entire body as a communication system. A meow combined with a tail held straight up means something completely different than the same meow combined with a puffed-out tail. Add in ear position, whisker direction, and posture, and you have a complex language system that would impress any linguist. I want you to really let this sink in. Your cat has literally spent years learning how to speak to you. They have been studying your reactions, adjusting their vocabulary, and perfecting their pronunciation. Every single day, they are refining their communication skills, attempting to bridge the gap between feline and human. They aren't just making random sounds hoping something sticks. They are engaging in a genuine conversation in a language they invented specifically for this relationship. When your cat meows at you, they are using a form of communication they reserve only for humans, customized specifically for you based on years of observation and interaction. That isn't just special. That is extraordinary. And I would love to hear about your cat's unique sounds. Drop a comment below describing the most distinctive meow your cat makes, and I promise I will read every single one. But there is something even more remarkable happening during these conversations, something that goes beyond sound. When you talk to your cat, their brain is analyzing not just what you are saying, but how you are saying it. And what they discover in your tone, your pitch, and your emotional inflection determines everything about how they view you. The tone that reveals your true relationship. Have you ever noticed that you utilize a different voice with your cat? That slightly higher pitch, those drawn-out vowels, the sing-song quality that makes you sound like you are speaking to a baby? Most of us feel a bit silly about it, especially if another human catches us doing it. You might even attempt to play it cool, lowering your voice to a normal register when your partner walks into the room. Pretending you weren't just having an entire animated conversation with Mr. Whiskers about whether the red ball or the blue mouse is more entertaining. But here is the beautiful truth. Your cat not only notices this change, they need it. And the science behind why this matters is going to ensure you never feel embarrassed about your cat voice ever again. In 2022, Researchers at the University Paris-Nanterre conducted a fascinating study that finally validated what cat parents have instinctively known for years. They wanted to understand whether cats actually respond differently to what scientists call cat-directed speech, essentially the feline equivalent of baby talk. The research team designed a controlled experiment where they had cat owners and complete strangers speak to cats using both normal, adult-directed speech and the higher-pitched, melodic cat-directed speech. The results were remarkable and incredibly specific. When owners used that special, affectionate tone, the one you probably use without even thinking about it, cats showed significantly more responsive behaviors. They approached their owners more quickly. Their tails went up in that happy question mark curve. Their ears perked forward, and they vocalized back more frequently. But here is the kicker. When strangers used the exact same cat-directed speech pattern with the same cats, there was barely any response at all. Let that sink in for a moment. It is not just about using a silly voice. It is about your voice combined with that special tone directed at your cat. The combination of your familiar voice plus that affectionate prosody creates something almost magical in your cat's brain. So what is actually happening neurologically? When your cat hears you using that warm, melodic tone, it activates their limbic system, the emotional center of their brain. This is the same region that processes memories, bonding, and emotional responses. Recent studies in feline neuroscience have shown that cats can distinguish at least 5 different human emotional states based purely on tone of voice: happiness, anger, fear, sadness, and affection. They are reading your emotions through the music of your speech, not just the words. But here is where this gets really profound and where you need to pay attention, because this affects your relationship in ways you might not have realized. The tone of voice you use with your cat actually reveals and reinforces the type of bond you share. When you use that affectionate, higher-pitched, cat-directed speech, your cat interprets you as a safe, familiar caregiver. In their mind, you are registering in the same category as their mother did when they were kittens. Mother cats use specific vocalizations with their babies, and while human speech is obviously different, that warm, melodic quality hits similar emotional notes in your cat's brain. You aren't just a human who provides food. You are family. On the other hand, when you use normal, neutral tones with your cat, the same voice you would use to read a grocery list or talk to a coworker, your cat processes you differently. You are still recognized, and you are still important, but you are viewed more like a roommate than a parent. You are a human who happens to share their space rather than someone they are deeply bonded to. Now, I am not saying every interaction needs to be high-pitched baby talk. Cats are complex, and relationships vary. But understanding this distinction helps explain why some cats seem deeply attached to their owners, while others seem more independent or aloof. Sometimes, it is not about the cat's personality. It is about how we are communicating with them. Want to test your bond right now? Try this little experiment. If your cat is nearby, try calling them using your normal speaking voice, flat, neutral, the tone you would use to say, "Pass the salt." Notice their response. Do they look up? Do they come over? Now, try calling them with your special cat voice, warm, inviting, a little higher pitched. Watch what happens. I am willing to bet the response is dramatically different. Research shows that cats with strong attachment bonds approach their owners 3 times faster when called with affectionate prosody compared to neutral speech. 3 times faster. That is not a subtle difference. That is your cat literally showing you through their behavior that this tone of voice matters deeply to them. And here is something that might surprise you most. When you use that special voice, you aren't just making your cat happy. You are actually triggering a neurochemical response that mirrors the mother-kitten bond. Both you and your cat experience increases in oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone. It is the same chemical that floods a mother's brain when she holds her newborn baby. You are literally becoming family at a biological level, all through the power of how you speak. They have learned that human voices, especially those warm, melodic tones, signal safety, love, and positive experiences. So, the next time someone makes fun of you for talking to your cat in that silly voice, you can tell them you are actually engaging in scientifically validated bonding behavior. You are speaking your cat's emotional language. You are reinforcing your role as their chosen family member. But all of this, the meows, the recognition, the emotional bonding through tone, leads to one question we need to answer. When your cat stares at you during these conversations, when they lock eyes with you after you speak, when they sit there seemingly analyzing every word you say, what is actually going through their mind in that exact moment? What your cat actually thinks when you talk, let's go there. Let's step inside your cat's mind during one of those everyday conversations when you are telling them about your day, asking them questions, or just saying their name from across the room. What is really happening behind those mesmerizing eyes? What thoughts are forming in that mysterious feline brain? Based on extensive behavioral research and cognitive studies conducted over the past 2 decades, we can now paint a remarkably detailed picture of your cat's thought process. And I have to tell you, it is both more complex and more beautiful than most people imagine. The moment your voice reaches your cat's ears, the first thing that happens is immediate recognition. Their brain registers, that is my human's voice. This isn't a vague awareness. It is a specific activation of memory centers that have stored the unique acoustic signature of your voice. Research shows this recognition happens in milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. It is automatic and deeply embedded, the same way you instantly recognize your own name in a crowded room. But recognition is just the beginning. The next thing your cat's brain does is contextual analysis. They are connecting your voice to their vast database of past experiences. If you are standing near the kitchen and your voice has that particular excited quality, their brain is making rapid associations. Last time this happened, food appeared. If you are near the door and using a different tone, they are thinking. This pattern usually means they are leaving. Your cat is essentially running probability calculations based on years of data collection. Then comes the emotional evaluation. This is where it gets really fascinating. Your cat isn't just hearing words. They are reading your emotional state with remarkable accuracy. Dr. Kristen Vitale at Oregon State University has conducted groundbreaking research on feline social cognition, and her findings reveal that cats are constantly assessing our emotional signals. When you speak, your cat is analyzing. Are they happy, stressed, sad, excited? And here is what makes this so special. They care about the answer. They aren't just noting your emotional state out of self-interest. They are gauging it because your emotions affect them. Now comes the decision phase, and this is where cats really show their unique personality. Unlike dogs, who were bred over thousands of years to be obedient and eager to please, cats make active choices about engagement. When you call your cat or talk to them, they are running a quick cost-benefit analysis. Is it worth my energy to respond right now? What is in it for me? How interesting is this interaction? This isn't coldness or indifference. It is autonomy. And actually, this makes their choice to respond even more meaningful. When your cat does engage with you, when they meow back, come running, or simply turn their head to acknowledge you, they are making a conscious decision that you are worth their time and energy. That is not obedience. That is genuine social interest. Dr. Vitale's research on attachment styles in cats revealed something that should make every cat parent feel incredibly special. In carefully controlled experiments, she found that approximately 65% of cats display secure attachment to their owners, a percentage remarkably similar to human children with their parents. This means that for most cats, you aren't just the food provider or the door opener. You are a source of comfort, security, and emotional regulation. And this is what truly sets cats apart from other domesticated animals. Dogs were selectively bred by humans over 15,000 years to live and work alongside us. We shaped them through intentional breeding programs. Cats, on the other hand, essentially domesticated themselves. They chose to live near human settlements because of the mice attracted to our grain stores. They chose to tolerate our presence. They chose to stay. Every interaction you have with your cat is a continuation of that original choice. When your cat responds to your voice, walks over when you call, or simply acknowledges your presence with a slow blink, they are reaffirming that choice. They are saying, I could ignore you, I could walk away, but I am choosing you. Think about what this means for all those conversations you have with your cat. When you come home and say, Hi baby, did you miss me? And your cat trots over with their tail high and chirps at you. That is not random behavior. That is your cat actively choosing to engage in a greeting ritual that they have learned brings you both joy. When you are having a bad day and you tell your cat about it, and they settle in your lap and start purring, that isn't coincidence. Research shows that cats can detect changes in their owner's emotional state and will often increase affiliative behaviors, when they sense distress. Your cat recognizes your voice as unique and special. They have developed a personalized language exclusively for your relationship. Your tone of voice determines how they see you, as family, not just a cohabitant. And every response, every meow, every moment of engagement is an active choice to maintain your bond. So here is what I want you to take away from everything we have discussed today. The next time you talk to your cat and they meow back, remember, you are not imagining things. This is a real conversation. It is happening in a language that bridges two entirely different species, a language that your cat has spent years developing specifically for you. They are choosing to meet you halfway to say, I hear you, and I am here. Your conversations matter. Your tone matters. Your relationship matters. And the beautiful thing is that every day, with every interaction, you are strengthening this incredible interspecies bond. So keep talking to your cats, my friends. Use that silly voice without shame. Have those long conversations where you tell them about your day. Ask them questions, even though you know they can't answer in words, because they are listening. They are understanding on a level that science is only beginning to appreciate. And most importantly, they are choosing you every single day. Now I want to hear from you. What is the most special conversation you have had with your cat? That moment when you really felt like they understood you? Share your story in the comments below. I genuinely love reading every single one, and I will do my best to respond to as many as I can. Your experiences help build this amazing community of cat lovers who understand that these little creatures are so much more than pets. They are family. And if you enjoy diving deep into the science and emotion behind your relationship with your cat, do me a favor and subscribe to Meowrange. We release new videos exploring the fascinating world of feline behavior every week. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep talking to your cats. They are listening more than you know.